Hey everyone, it's Luca, logging into My Hero Ultra Impact perhaps for the final time. There is only one day left at the time of this recording. I will be showcasing my account and going over my thoughts about this game in general. Do let me know in the comments your final thoughts about this game. I will miss it a lot. There will also be one more video with viewer account showcases. Thank you for your submissions. Keep an eye out for that video. And maybe also a short video with character voice lines and character outfits I want to remember. And thank you all for checking out my channel over this past year. I might see you in my Ultra Rumble videos or maybe in a future My Hero game. I do wonder if Bandai Namco will be releasing another My Hero mobile game in the future, since they did have two My Hero games before this, Smash Tap and Smash Rising. They both had really nice art too, and that was before they came out with My Hero Ultra Impact. So who knows, maybe they'll be back with another My Hero mobile game, and their art team is always fantastic. There is another My Hero game coming out this year, My Hero United Survival. That one is by K-Lab though, that's a completely different company. So far, the teasers have not been impressing me though, so I am a little worried about that game. Okay, well, let's take a look at my account. These are the characters I have on the home screen.
たく目が乾くな。居残りしてるやつがいるな。
ぬるゲーすぎるぜ。ゲームの話だよ。
普通構えるんだけどな。
These are my top 3 favorite characters, Shinso, Aizawa, and Shigi.
体力もつけて、あいつらに追いつく。
Okay, and here we'll take a look at my profile. So I ended this game with 18 million battle power with max rank of rank 150. I did reach this rank at the very end here. And I first started playing February 10th, 2022, so it has been 4 years. I think I started on day 2. Day 1 was maybe February 9th? Okay. And these are all of my characters. I have Movie Deku at UR+, and then these 3 Bakugos at UR+, with Celeb Bakugo as the only limited Bakugo that I have at UR+. And then I do have Steampunk Shoto at level 130, but not at UR+. One Genpool Shoto at UR+, level 130 here. I do have other Deku's Bakugo and Shoto at level 120 UR+, but I didn't want to get them to 130 because you'll see soon why that is. Celeb Momo carried me so much in this game for the longest time until newer supports dethroned her. I always had a base copy Shoji, so I did not get to use him much, but if I had him at UR+, then I think he would have put in a lot of work. Oljiro was the bane of my existence. He kept showing up over other characters I wanted, so he UR+ himself super early. Hagakure was one of the best supports at the end of this game's run. I did get her at base copy and she put in so much work. I did UR+ her with this wild Genpool banner at the very end. Monoma liked my game. He kind of just showed up on his own. Valentine's Nejire, one of our very last limited characters that we got, I went for 130 and then I purposely did not go for UR+ since I was saving for anniversary, the anniversary that never happened. The ST Nejire liked my game a lot. Shinso. It took me such a long time to UR+ this Genpool Shinso, right? And he only ever had Genpool units. But this Shinso is the whole reason I started playing this game. During year 1, I didn't really play this game very much until I finally pulled him on a really bad VE Tower banner that had like 6 characters featured. It was Hawks, Aizawa, and Shinso. And I kept getting Aizawa from it. So many Aizawas that I was able to UR+ mind Aizawa. And then finally I got one Shinso. And that is the whole reason I continued playing this game. And then I waited for a new Shinso for the longest time until he finally released last year. But I was only able to get 2 copies of him on that banner with 300 pulls. But then I did UR+ him with this very wild Genpool banner at the very end. I have this climax battle, All Might. I did UR+ most of the climax battles already before these final climax battle reruns, because I do enjoy the climax battles a ton. I plus this All Might since he had piercing shot, and I thought he would be more useful, but then he was kind of outdated by the time I was able to work on him. Oh yes, and this is why I don't have a bunch of my 1A characters at level 130, because I wanted this whole row of Aizawa. I wanted him to take this whole row. This is beautiful seeing him in this row of Aizawas. So for the longest time, Mind Aizawa was my only UR plus character, and he was sorted at the very top, and I loved that. But then I worked on, I don't know if it was Celeb Bakugo maybe at that time, or maybe it was this Deku. Oh no, I think it was him. He was the culprit. I got him to UR plus, right? And he pushed Aizawa to the right, and I was like, oh my goodness, my box has been destroyed. It will never ever recover from this. Ojiro has pushed Aizawa to the right, and now Aizawa is no longer the first character in my box. So after that, I was like, okay, fine, I will work on more of the students now. So yeah, Aizawa was no longer the very first unit in my box. I am very happy to have all of these Aizawas, especially the limited Aizawas. I was able to UR plus all of them. Steampunk Aizawa is my favorite unit from this game. He is my favorite unit. He was very useful. And this Aizawa took me 300 tickets just to get one copy on his initial banner. So this Aizawa, not one of my favorites, even though he was very useful. I do like the original Heroes Assemble Aizawa a ton. He was my second UR plus Aizawa, and I really wanted to get an updated DST Aizawa. I was really hoping that this Aizawa would have been DST, but no, he is just ABO like the other fantasy Aizawa. For some reason, he's just copying himself, like this Aizawa is copying himself yet again. But this Aizawa has my favorite art. My favorite art. But this unit, Steampunk Aizawa, was my favorite because he was also a meta for quite a while. And this Aizawa was my first UR plus Aizawa. And then I have Present Mike, all present Mikes, who only ever had gem pool units. Midnight, I actually left Midnight at board 7 for the longest time, until now, until the very end. Because I always used her in the VE tower ranking mode. And in that mode, if our units were too overpowered, we actually defeated the enemies way too fast. So I had to keep a lot of my units at base copy low boards, or even took off their memories just so that they didn't overkill. And Midnight was one of the units who was amazing for that mode. So I kept her at very low boards just for that mode. But since this game has now ended, I UR plussed her. I'm very happy that we got Ruler of Edge Endeavor, because I thought we would get Steampunk Endeavor and we never did. So at least we did get a limited Endeavor, who was pretty good. And this is the Climax Battle Endeavor, one of the hardest Climax battles. This Endeavor, Gempool Endeavor, did amazing damage. He was a very powerful Endeavor despite being an older Gempool unit. This genus, oh my goodness, this genus is so powerful. I think the meta changed so fast by the end that free-to-play players like me would not have been able to keep up if this game had continued longer, because the latest and newest Gempool characters, Best Genus and Toga, were both really hard to get since they were Gempool characters and they were super meta. None of the people I knew had them, or only had them at base copy, so we would have fallen behind. But yeah, he is super overpowered with his rush and binds and all of that. Climax Battle Best Genus, Edge Shot. I'm glad we did get Edge Shot. And we have Climax Battle Night Eye. We have Ruler of Edge Hawks, who I did go all in on to get because I thought he would do well in Club Festival, but he ended up not coming into play much, unlike Best Genus. Oh my goodness, Best Genus. This Shigi, Destruction Incarnate Shigi, I did go all in on his Gempool banner to get him. I'm very glad that we did finally get a Shigi that was decently powerful because all the old Shigis were not very, very powerful. Climax Battle Shigi was a disappointment. Super cool unit, but very, very hard to use. Steampunk Shigi. I was so happy when he got chosen as one of the steampunk characters because we only got half of the theme. Just like Celeb, we didn't get a bunch of Celeb characters, only a few. And steampunk, we only got a few. So I'm really glad that Aizo and Shigi were both chosen to be part of the theme. I was really sad when he was on a memory and I thought he would just be on that memory. But then he did get released and I was like, I was overjoyed. But his skills were very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. But I still UR plus him anyway because it's Shigi. And our only limited Shigi. I UR plus these other Shigis with the very wild Genpol banner at the end. I was never able to get them very far before this. I only had one copy of each Shigi or maybe like DX1 on all of them. But I did manage to UR plus them at the very end. This Shigi was always one of my favorites, Perdition Shigi. He looks amazing with his cape. And this Shigi was always very useful in some of the climax battles. Dobbies as well, and a beautiful row here. Oh yeah, and I forgot to mention that I was also able to get Shigi in a beautiful row here. He has a whole row to himself, and that's why I decided not to get some of these characters here to level 130. So I do have more Hawks at level 120, but not 130 because I wanted Shigi to have a whole row to himself. And here I have all of my Dobbies in almost one full row. We're just missing one more Dobby to have that happen. But all of these Dobbies are gem pool because we never got a limited Dobby. I was thinking we would get one soon, but we never did. But out of these Dobbies, my favorite one, really hard to say. I do like this one a lot. Guide to Hell Dobby.
ヒーローの卵どもはそろそろ帰る時間だな。
And out of my Shigis, hard to say which Shigi is my favorite. Might be this one though, with the cape. And out of my Shinsos, I actually like the original Shinso more. I think this Shinso is really cute. This one especially. And then I have all of my Togas. This Toga was so overpowered. All of me Toga. And this Toga was very useful versus Getten. This Toga was always nice in V Tower. I never really used these two Togas much. And then my Summer Toga is sadly only base copy, so you'll see her way lower. I wish, in hindsight, that I had pulled on her banner way more. And then here we have twice Mr. Compress, who I only had a base copy for the entire duration of this game until now. And then we have these AFOs. I only got him from the gem pool banner at the very end. This is Climax Battle AFO. His Climax Battle was very fun. In the very beginning, back in 2022, I had a hard time against his Climax Battle. But then, of course, later on, the Climax Battles got a lot easier as time went on. For some reason, we only ever got one overhaul, very outdated unit. I did manage to get base copy of him, so I had him for trust. We only ever had Climax Battle Gentle. I wish we got an updated Gentle. Inasa was pretty useful. Hatsume released in December and she was immediately part of the meta. I really only had this Miracle and then I got this one on the final banner. Getten was meta for a whole year. Amazing Climax Battle character. And I hope we get him in Ultra Rumble as well. And here we have Redestro. I put him on my arena team for quite a while. So I worked on him a lot when he was first released. And here we have the two Nagants. I didn't have this Nagant, so I couldn't use her in Climax Battles until now. I only had this one, and she was very powerful. And here we have Climax Battles Star, who could have become meta if the game had continued with her new order. But Hatsume did release the month after her, and she prevented stuns, so immediately Star could not be used as much. If Hatsume hadn't been around, then maybe Star could have been used more. And we have this Genpol Star. She was not very good, even on release. Julio, I'm glad I decided to max him out during his banner because the game ended before we ever could have gotten another rerun. I'm still surprised that they decided to add him in a whole year after the initial Your Next banner. Because he was already a backpack in movie Deku's unit. So I thought that would be it for him. Never thought he would get a solo unit, but I'm glad he did, and I enjoyed using him on my teams. We got this final Deku as a thank you to all the players. Super cute unit. The greatest hero. And he says thank you. These characters are at level 120 so that they don't push my row of Aizawas and Shigis down. I want them to be at the very top of my box. And so here we have all of the Gen Pool units I UR plus with the very crazy, wild Gen Pool banner we had at the very end. Our final Ruler of the Edge character, Kirishima. This Tokoyami was always very powerful with his piercing shot and double attacks. This Monoma I could not get until the wild Gen Pool banner. I wish I had him earlier. Out of the 1B characters, we got Monoma and Kinoko. We never even got Kendo for some reason. The big three, Nejire definitely got a lot of love, while Tamaki and Mirio did not. I would think they would give us an updated Tamaki, right? And an updated Mirio. I thought Mirio was popular enough to get more units. Armored All Might, super powerful unit. And we have this All Might who released during one of the anniversaries, and he was a disappointment on release. We have this Gen Pool All Might, and then this All Might from the USJ shop. I only UR plussed him now. These two Mount Ladies, I never got this one until now. So I couldn't use her in climax battles, but she was very good in climax battles. I had this Mount Lady for the longest time though. Some random Gen Pool endeavors I never used. I had the hardest time getting this Hawks. This dual Hawks with Endeavor, Fierce Wings and Flames Hawks. Out of all the Hawks, I would say that Ruler of the Edge Hawks was my favorite. Here's another AFO. I guess I could get him to level 130 since he would not push my Aizawas or Shigis lower. And then, after all of the UR plus level 120 Gen Pool characters, then I have all my base copy or DX1 limited characters. 100 million Shoto, Music Fest Denki, Summer Mina. I usually only went for base copy or DX1 of limited characters unless they were my favorites. Snowboard Hawks, Summer Mina, Steampunk Deku, Heroes Assemble Deku. This Bakugo though, I tried to UR plus him, went all in, but only ever got, well, I never even pulled him, so I had to use pity on him. That was really sad. I really wanted to get him to UR plus because he was very powerful and also a super cool unit. Heroes Assemble Bakugo, just at base copy. I did get World Heroes Mission Bakugo, and that was the only World Heroes Mission character I managed to get back then. Heroes Assemble Oshako was very useful in VE Tower, and she was meta for a while. Celeb Shoto, and all of these other limited Shotos as well. This Shoto was super cute. Starry Night Shoto. I did one multi on his banner on one of the summer banners and managed to get him. I remember saying, oh, this Shoto looks cute, and then I pulled and I got him. And then I had this Holiday Threats Shoto as well, and the Heroes Assemble Shoto. He was very useful on my teams. I was even using him in Arena for quite a while way back. Only base copy of Snowboard Froppy, base copy of Valentine's Momo, Heroes Assemble Denki, Summer Jiro, Celeb Mina, 100 Billions All Might, and Summer Toga. This is the one I regret the most. I really wish I had gotten her to UR+, but I only did one lap on her banner. I only did one lap on her banner. I did more than one lap on Jiro's banner, only got one copy. And then I have my level 80 Deku at the very end of all my UR characters because I just thought it was really funny how many Dekus we got in this game, and I thought it would be funny if I had him in this entire row at the very end. So here he is. And then all the SR characters just kind of here to pad the battle power. I've never ever even seen all of these awakened arts until now because I always had them, and the R characters too, because I always had the SR characters unbuilt. They were my rainy day funds, my piggy bank in case I needed any more hero gems. So I never worked on them. And they were also great for sacrificial strategies in climax battles. So if I built them too much, then I couldn't sacrifice them on turn 1 in the climax battles. And I really did want to do those strategies. Out of the SR characters, Learn Might was super useful. Very good SR. And also Shishikura, super amazing unit. I wish he had gotten a UR version as well. Of course, I gotta show Shinso, right? And I did finally R plus the R Shinso at the very end. Okay, and then next up, the memories. I won't go over them for too long, but I did expand to 600 spaces, and I have these memories in my box. I try to tidy it up at the very end. I worked on a lot of the VE Tower and USJ memories so that I could have them to use. As for the gem pool memories, I slowly built them up. And I do have a few limited memories that were very useful. This gem pool memory was super useful. Friends who call out your name with very good DPS boosts. But I would say the most useful limited memories were full power young ones. Use that on almost every team for team crit. And also Lively Festival for team cooldown. This is one of my extra copies because I somehow pulled 5 copies of this memory. And then this was one of the exclusive memories that was also very useful, Joyous Dash. I used this in Club Festival a lot. The memory that I had the hardest time getting from the gem pool though was gaming and driving. I did finally get this memory at the end, didn't even add an X skill on it. Oh, but I did something funny at the end. I decided to keep all of my SR Shinso memories just so I could have this to look at the very end. Sadly, I did not get a full page of this SR Shinso memory. Almost. Shinso is the star of General Studies. And then we had this newer Shinso memory, The Voice That Rules, where he is controlling Gigantomachia. I really wish we had gotten a Gigantomachia climax battle. But this one is super cute. The path we all take, where Shinso is just upside down looking at his 1C classmates. And then I have the Pink Pants Aizawa memory, Persistent Tenacity. Also 6 copies, and I did have 5 copies of Lively Festival. And then I had a bunch of copies of this memory so that I could farm the final event. But my favorite memory, based on the art though, was this one, the 4.5 year anniversary memory featuring the League of Villains. I really wanted this memory, and I'm so glad that I was able to pull this memory from the anniversary banner, because that did not always happen. A lot of times I did not get the anniversary memories. Which one was your favorite anniversary memory? Let me know. But my favorite memory to bring up was always the Pink Pants Aizawa memory. I equipped it on my entire team under guest because I just thought it looked really funny. And I even have it in my VE Tower team, which I will show next. My favorite game mode was actually VE Tower. I tried really hard with the ranking, so our final ever VE Tower ranking was the Muriel Tower Hero Stage. I ranked 4th in that one over here, and we can see my final teams here. And I equipped the Pink Pants Aizawa memory on my team at the very end. So you can see all of my Aizawas have the Pink Pants memory equipped. I thought it would just look very funny, and it will forever be there. That was my best ranking yet, rank 4, and that was the final VE tower we ever got. And for the past VE towers, I was able to get, let's see, I think this was the very first one I was in. I was ranked 2000, but then I was ranked 9 in the Ochako Tower and rank 10 in the Aizawa Tower. This is when I really tried hard to get top 10 because we get a statue, and I wanted the Aizawa statue for my base, which I will also show. Rank 19 in this one, rank 29. I was learning VE Tower, and then finally I was able to get a higher rank. This is kind of going backwards chronologically. This was the latest tower, which my scores went up as time went on. And then if we take a look at, I'm going to show the Club Festival scores. So once VE Tower was gone, then Club Festival was my favorite mode, and I did enjoy getting as high of a score as I could. I did rank 5th in the final Club Festival, and then let's see, 11th, 18th, 23rd. So my ranking did improve as time went on. 35th, 123. That was the Club Festival 4 was when we had all the hackers, and that's when a lot of players left the game because there were just too many hackers in Club Festival. Rank 91, rank 117, and in my first Club Festival where I had no idea what I was doing, I was rank 601. So yeah, Club Festival was my favorite mode after VE Tower was gone, because I really enjoyed trying out a lot of different teams and getting my score higher. I did also enjoy climax battles a lot, though as time went on, they got easier, so they were not quite as challenging as they were in the very beginning. They were super challenging at first, but then as my roster grew larger, then climax battles were not as challenging. But then that's when I started being able to make climax battle guides, and I really enjoyed making climax battle guides. And then I have my base over here, which is Shinso in his room. It's basically an Aizawa shrine because I have Aizawa's sleeping bag, Aizawa's statue over here, Aizawa's goggles and eye drops, all the Aizawa posters, Aizawa's capture weapon over here, and a random Ochako statue just because of the Ochako VE Tower ranking stage. I did also have one more statue from the ranking, and that was the Mirio one, where I also ranked top 10. So only the top 10 players got these statues from VE Tower. So they were pretty exclusive. I think that meant only 20 players had these statues, because there were 2 brackets in their ranking. There was the higher ranking bracket and then also the newbie bracket. So I did manage to get these from the older veteran player bracket and not the newbie bracket, but people in the newbie bracket also got these statues if they ranked top 10. Okay, and then base 2 is just Shinso with all the anniversary cakes and all the VE Tower trophies. I did clear all of the VE Tower challenges, and all of the challenges gave you a small trophy. I just put all of Shinso's in the back, and it's actually only the original Shinso. I never even added the new Shinso there. Okay, let's go back to base 1. I wish we had gotten new furniture, because the furniture, there were not a lot of choices. We did at least get more things to show in our base. Like these were pretty cool. I thought these posters were super cool. I just never put them though, because this was an Aizawa shrine. And did we get an Aizawa poster? We didn't, right? But yeah, this is super cool. But yeah, these looked amazing. Like this poster. There we go, Shinso on the side. These were very nice. And also a very random La Brava. This is so funny. I wish they had given us more to do with the base. Cause like yeah, these were cool, but I really wish we had gotten more. We could decorate our base with more of the furniture. For trust, I did get to number 1 for Shinso's trust this very last month. I'm sure other characters have higher trust than mine because I stopped farming the event. I just gave all the gifts I had saved from last month to him. Let's give some gifts to Shinso for the final time. By the way, did you know that you could shrink or enlarge these characters on the trust screen? This is so funny. New Dolphin randomly discovered this one day and we were so shocked because look, I can make him into a giant or I can shrink him and he can become so tiny. There will be one more video with viewer count showcases. Thanks for checking out my videos about this game. I'll miss this game a lot. I hope to still see you around, so see you in the next video. Luca out.